Hello class, today we are going to start a new unit and this is our introduction and it's going to be about animal habitats and environments. Some of the standards we are going to look at relate to life science. They are how different organisms and animals depend on plants, their specific environments and habitats that they live in. That's going to be our big focus. What happens when an environment changes and ways that humans impact environments. So what is a habitat? A habitat is obviously an animal's home and it's the environment in which they live. To live there, they need to be able to have food, water, and shelter. We're going to look at 6 different habitats. There are more than that, but we're going to start with these 6. And in them, we're going to talk a little bit just about what they are and some of the animals that live there, including endangered animals. And then later, we're going to talk more about why they are endangered. Our first habitat we're going to look at is oceans. Oceans are the largest habitat. They cover most of the world as it's 75% water and they are still largely unexplored and discovered. But we know that they have a lot of different animals that live there and plants. We have octopus and even really small creatures such as seahorses and starfish. And then our endangered species that we're going to talk about in the oceans is the blue whale, which is also the largest animal that we're going to talk about here and the largest animal in the world. Next, we're going to talk about forests. There are different types of forest. This here is probably a coniferous forest. It would have trees that are largely pine trees or evergreen trees. There is a form of temperate forest, but there are also tropical forests or rainforests that we'll look at as well. Those ones have the largest biodiversity, but the forests that we live most closely to in Pacific Northwest look more like this. So that's another reason why this is our main example. We have lots of small creatures that live under the trees, and the forest is, a large population of tree growth. It forms a canopy where lots of animals can live. We have creatures such as fox and beavers and stuff. Several types of bears and other carnivorous animals that live in the forest. And then we even have owls. Owls are our endangered species here. They're losing a lot of the trees from humans, and so they're losing their habitats, and that's causing them to be endangered. So we're going to look at that more as well. Next, we have deserts. Deserts are classified as an area that gets less than 10 inches of rain in an entire year. So they are very dry, and they go from very, very hot in the summer, in the daytime, but at night it can drop very quickly, as much as 75 degrees within a couple hours, and it's very cold at night. So the animals and plants that live here are not as abundant as some of our other habitats we're looking at, but they have all developed really special skills and traits that allow them to survive in this environment. We have jackrabbit hares and other burrowing creatures that actually build their homes like in the sand. Same with reptiles. Reptiles can survive in this environment, such as rattlesnakes. And then birds. And here we have a vulture. Vultures all over the world are largely endangered. So we'll be looking at them as well. Our next habitat are wetlands. Wetlands are classified as being completely submerged in water for at least part of the year. So kind of opposite as deserts is the animals and plant life here has adapted well to areas with lots of water. So trees being able to survive, covered in water, and different plant life. And then also the animals that live there. So again, we have a lot of birds that live here, such as the pelicans and storks. Our endangered animal is the bog turtle here, and we'll talk about why he's endangered, while some of the other turtles in the world aren't as endangered. And we also have a lot of small animals like the capybara that have adapted to live in this type of environment. Our last one we're going to look at in our introduction are polar or Arctic habitats. These are on the very top, the very north polar regions, and the very south Antarctic regions of our globe. So down south we have our penguins, and up north we have more of our seals and polar bears. Polar bears are heavily endangered, and we've talked about them a lot, as some have even come down, into the Americas up from the North Pole. So we're going to look a lot about how the polar bears are endangered and how their ecosystems and habitats are changing very rapidly. All right, that is our introduction. We'll talk more about all of this later. Bye.